I think harvest is just about 2 weeks away at this point. If you look at these clusters, they're really nice and solid. The grapes are a great size, so they're nice and juicy, but not too plump.
This startup winery in Napa Valley will soon experience its first crush, and its first vintage will be enjoyed by guests aboard Oceania Cruises' newest ship, Riviera.
I think the most satisfying part is actually creating something from scratch, sort of like we did at Oceania. So many people told us from the start that there's no chance we were going to make it at Oceania. I mean, they said, come on, this is industry dominated by all these big players. The economy was at a terrible time. But you know, we had this vision, and we were going to do things different, something that's never been done before.
I don't think anyone ever envisions or dreams the level of success. I think success is sort of an afterthought. And so we set out to survive. And lo and behold, we did, and achieved a little bit more than just survive.
Probably Frank doesn't know, but the majority of the people I would talk with, they thought he was a dreamer. But he had a good vision, he had a clear vision. He knew exactly what he was going to do and what he was eventually going to achieve.
Well, first you reach out to those who you know, and you sound off ideas. And so one of the first gentlemen that I contacted was Bob Binder. He and I had worked together for a long time. I trust Bob. And I said, what do you think? Are you busy? What are you doing the next 10 years? And he liked the idea. We all had to prove, I think, to ourselves, more than anybody else, that we can do this. That David did beat Goliath, and we could too. And we did.
Almost immediately, Oceania Cruises was rated one of the world's best cruise lines. Today, about 50% of the guests aboard the typical Oceania cruise have cruised with Oceania before, some as many as 20 or 30 times.
You never feel like you're in a stilted environment, and the staff goes out of their way to make you feel at ease. And the captain of this ship was on our first cruise, and he told me, I said, how do you find people like this? He said, what we look for are people that have a positive attitude and a smile on their face. He said, so we just hire charming people.
The real difference is that the entire environment exudes that one of a warm family. You'll find it on board with the officers, you'll find it on board with the crew, and ultimately that family nature also touches our passengers every day.
Carmela, how are you?
Very good, how are you?
I'm good, good to see you.
If you set out to build a culture, you will fail. It has to be natural. And that's just the way we are. We treat our employees, we treat our travel agent partners, we treat our guests all the same. We treat them with respect, we treat them like we want to be treated, and I hope that we never lose that.
Good morning, how may I assist you?
Team building exercises, I think that's all phony. It's got to come from within, it's got to be real. We're true to cuisine. We spend more money on the raw ingredients, on the foodstuffs, more money on the galleys. When we build Marina, the shipyard used to kid me that we weren't building a ship, that we were building a floating galley. And I said, why do you say that? They calculated that Marina has more galley space than a conventional 125,000 ton ship. It's one area that we absolutely refuse to take shortcuts. And that's why we get the kind of ratings that we get when it comes to our cuisine.
It's funny, if you ask any of your friends, when they come back from a vacation, 90% of them, they will tell you, the first thing that will tell you is if they ate good or if they ate bad. They probably won't remember the color of the bed sheet, or they won't remember the chairs in a bar, but they remember the food.
The pesto sauce that you will find on the Toscana menu is hands down second to none. And when I asked where this recipe came from, it actually came from a member of our waitstaff. It came from her grandmother. And so we continuously keep the menu fresh. These are the types of recipes that will resonate with our guests.
Recruiting a world-class culinary team meant scouring the finest restaurants ashore and making offers to the best chefs. But attracting a master chef like Jacques Pepin was a daunting task.
I knew somebody who knew him, and they gave me his email address and his phone number.
And I was a little bit intimidated. I mean, after all, you know, Jacques was a personal chef of Charles de Gaulle and 3 French heads of state. So I get to go over to Jacques' house, and he taught me how to play boules. And boules is basically French bocce. And I think Jacques kind of makes up his own rules. Next thing you know, we had our first member of the culinary team, Jacques Pepin, our executive culinary director, and he's been with us ever since.
I saw the commitment that they have for food, for the quality of food.
You always have to go back to the beginning. It's a question of honesty. You cannot really produce extraordinary food with ordinary ingredients.
I think the company is committed to spending money to buy high-quality food, and that's what's important.
Jacques' Bistro is the first to bear his name. His personal artworks adorn the walls, and his family recipes are shared by guests each evening.
It was gratifying to have this for an old chef, you know, so that's good.
This is the greatest gig in the world. My role as the Director of Culinary Enrichment is to make sure that we take the food and wine experience that you have here in the dining room and connect that to our destinations and our ports. Because the world is becoming a very sophisticated place as it relates to food and wine, and we want our guests to understand and appreciate the food and wine perspective of where they're traveling.
Well, we walk the talk. And so if Oceania is the foodie cruise line, a natural extension of that is having a cooking school so that you can take home the skills and the techniques that you need in order to be able to serve your family and friends the kind of cuisine that you enjoyed on board.
If Bon Appetit is going to enter into a partnership with someone, it's got to be the right partner. And I think what it ultimately comes down to is commitment. What is the quality control? What is the quality assurance? And so I think we felt as a company that Oceania was as committed to eating well and teaching the benefits and joys of cooking as we are as a magazine.
This is probably one of the best cooking classes I've been at. The hands-on here was beyond anything that I've experienced.
A focus on the freshest ingredients goes hand in hand with healthy eating and a healthy lifestyle. In fact, guests can enjoy spa cuisine at any meal, designed by the experts at the world-famous Canyon Ranch Spa Resorts.
Well, the spa cuisine on board is equivalent to what we serve at our land-based properties. And what it's predicated upon is really healthy ingredients. We have a clean and healthy philosophy. We chose things that were easily sourced, and Oceania folks have been just incredible to work with. They've just, you know, sort of worked magic in enabling us to really put the Canyon Ranch cuisine on board.
Canyon Ranch spa clubs are featured on every ship in the Oceania Cruises fleet. There are even dedicated spa relaxation decks and thermal spa beds for guests aboard Marina and Riviera, in addition to a wide range of Canyon Ranch healthy living activities, treatments, and classes.
The objective is to provide their passengers, their guests, with a very unique, relaxing, special experience. And that's what Canyon Ranch is all about. And we found that we blend very well with Oceania. They are extraordinarily committed to meeting those individual needs. They're not cookie cutter. Canyon Ranch is not cookie cutter. And our guests recognize that. And it's not the artificial service. It's really true, meaningful, heartfelt service that these guests get, both from Oceania and from Canyon Ranch.
From dining to everyday activities, Oceania's trademarked country club casual lifestyle is literally built into each ship. Riviera and Marina were the first new builds for Oceania Cruises and represent the fulfillment of a dream.
It's absolutely an enormous opportunity to be able to build a ship from scratch. You get to design her exactly to the specifications that you want, and those specifications are completely informed by what our guests have asked us for.
You know, many of the pieces Frank and I picked out ourselves. We had a lot of great shopping trips. We went to art galleries and furniture stores and picked them all out by hand. And when you look at the atmosphere, it's more like staying in a luxurious private home.
The centerpiece aboard Marina and Riviera is a magnificent staircase fitted with sparkling elements by famed French crystal maker Lalique.
We're very overprotective of the brand to a fault at times. And when this partnership came about, or the idea was born, we had to do our research and make sure that the two names, the two brands, were compatible with each other.
The Grand Staircase is the result of 37 French artisans working 1,600 hours to handcraft 2,100 kilograms of pure Lalique crystal, combining elegance with functionality.
Our focus on attention to detail, in my mind, is truly what sets Oceania Cruises apart from, quite frankly, any other cruise line. Suites that exceed 2,000 square feet. The 3 owner suites on board are fashioned by Ralph Lauren Home, a very comfortable, inviting environment. And so those types of details become very, very important, and they evolve the brand as we go forward.
You know, when we first started Oceania, of the first 20 employees, 8 had my DNA. As you know, today Oceania is part of Prestige Cruise Holdings. We also own Regent. We're no longer one little ship cruise line. We have 8 vessels. I hope we never lose sight of that human side, which I think makes all the difference in the world.
We deliver a dream vacation experience. And it's when you get that guest letter and the letter says, "You guys did it again. You did it for me and my husband." That's what's so satisfying. That's what makes it all worthwhile.
Come on, everyone, grab your glasses, dinner's ready. Not sure what the future holds for Oceania, but I can tell you it's going to be exciting. Let's toast to great food and wine and friends and family.
Low down.
We're always looking for new trends and always want to raise the bar for our guests. So every time they come back, it's even better than the last time.